Today, this is one that I just think screams summer and fun, and I think it's kind of brilliant, but I am partial. I wrote it. It's a barbecued burger with our own homemade chipotle barbecue sauce. And then we're gonna top it with ranch slaw. Right? Come on now. Pat it on the back. Okay, so for this burger, we're gonna start with the slaw because I like it to hang out a little bit while I'm cooking the barbecue sauce and flipping the patties. So we're gonna start with about a half a cup of either sour cream or Greek yogurt. Nice full-fat Greek yogurt has a great tang, and so does sour cream, of course. We're gonna make a ranch dressing for our slaw. I'm gonna thin that out just a bit with a fat splash of buttermilk. Is that news to you that buttermilk is in ranch dressing? So a little buttermilk. Then we're gonna sweeten it up a little bit, about 2 teaspoons of superfine sugar. Add a little celery salt. Delicious. A few tablespoons of white vinegar. Grated onion, and I grate it right over the bowl so the onion juice falls down into our dressing. A little grated onion. A nice fat splash of lemon juice. Squeeze the lemon, cut side up so that the seeds stay with the lemon, don't fall down into your dressing. Now, if you make this thicker and use a lot of sour cream or Greek yogurt and just a splash of the buttermilk and just a splash of lemon juice, you make this a little thicker. Of course, it's a great dip for parties to put out with your crudité. Not that anybody ever eats the crudité, but you gotta put it out, right? So then I take a little pile of dill and parsley, run my knife through it, and I've already finely chopped my chives. And dill, chive, and parsley I just think are just essential for making buttermilk dressing, that ranch flavor that we love so much. Tons of nice fresh herbs. Grate in a little bit of garlic. A little goes a long way in salad dressing. Okay, and we've got our celery salt, but we need a little black pepper. Okay, and then we're just going to add our shredded white or red cabbage, whichever you prefer, down into our dressing. It's delicious slaw for this, or fried chicken and biscuits. Really good slaw. Moving on to our barbecue sauce for our BBQ-Dipped burgers. I took the rest of the onion that I grated a little bit into our ranch dressing, chop it up. Reserve a little bit of finely chopped white onion to sprinkle on your bun, leave it raw. The rest of it throw into a skillet with a couple tablespoons of butter or olive oil. Let that get nice and soft. To that, we're going to add some garlic, a couple of fat cloves of garlic. And then to that, we're going to add a few tablespoons for 4 to 6 burgers of puree of chipotle and adobo, and a few tablespoons, a couple of fat squirts of tomato paste. Tomato paste lives in a tube, right? So you need to kind of wake it up. You want to stir tomato paste for a minute until it's really fragrant and starts to melt down before you add other ingredients to the pan. You're cooking it out and developing its flavor. You're giving it a wake-up call. And then to this, we're going to add some coarse black pepper, a really nice balance to the chipotle. And then a fat splash of soy and Worcestershire sauce. And then to, make it extra saucy, fat splash of beef stock or beef broth. And then we're gonna let this simmer and thicken and sweeten up a bit with some light brown sugar. And you just let this cook low and slow while you're cooking your burgers. It only takes about 7 to 10 minutes for this to get nice and thick and shiny and sweet and savory and spicy. Delicious, basically. All right, we'll let this do its thing. Now, while our sauce is cooking down, we can go ahead and cook up our patties. For the meat, I'm gonna leave this plain today. Normally I add a little grated onion and Worcestershire, but I have so much flavor in the sauce you wouldn't notice. So I'm just gonna do kosher salt, which makes a great crust on ground beef, and lots of coarse black pepper. Mix in your seasoning. Try not to over mix the meat, that makes it tight. and then score it with the side of your hand. The reason you score the meat into equal sections is so that as you're taking the meat out of the bowl, you know you're pulling about the same amount of meat. Also, as you're making burgers, I've seen a lot of people do this. They'll make a patty here and throw it in the pan. Well, now they're all going to have different cooking times. You want to form all of your patties before you put any of them into the hot pan or onto your grill so that they all have the same cook time. Here's how we do this. Some bread and butter pickles and that minced white onion on the bottom of our buns. Then we take our homemade chipotle sauce and douse it over our burgers, dunking them and drowning them in homemade smoky sweet barbecue goodness. Then, I know. Then you put that barbecue slathered burger. Now, you didn't forget about the ranch coleslaw, did you? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.